And we begin with the top story tonight. The Ministry of Education has announced a raft of changes in the Competency-Based Curriculum following recommendations by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms, in a move that is geared towards eliminating duplication and overlaps across the various levels of basic education. Learning areas for lower primary have been reduced from 9 to 7. Upper primary will have 8 learning areas, down from 10, and learners in junior secondary school will undertake 9 subjects as opposed to the previous 14. Safin Achieng Oma breaks down how the learning structure will look like beginning January next year.
Schools will reopen for the first term of 2024 in about 2 weeks under a new order of learning after the Ministry of Education announced changes to the basic education structure, which will see the number of subjects reduced significantly. The changes, which were done in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, were informed by recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, which had, in their report, called for the rationalization of the number of learning areas and curriculum designs to address gaps, content overload and overlaps in basic education. In a circular to directors of education, the Ministry of Education announced that it had reduced the learning areas for junior school from 14 to 9, maintaining key subjects like English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, mathematics, and religious education. Other subjects like integrated science and health education have been merged and will now be referred to as integrated science. Social studies and life skills have been integrated into one learning area referred to as social studies. Agriculture and some aspects of home science will now commonly be referred to as agriculture and nutrition. Other concepts of home science will, however, be integrated in integrated science and other relevant learning areas. The new pre-technical studies will incorporate what was formerly known as pre-technical studies, computer and business studies, while physical education, sports, visual and performing arts will now be merged into one learning area referred to as creative arts and sports. Under the new structure, there will be no optional learning area for JSS, with the total lessons per week reduced to 41 from 45. 6 learning areas in upper primary remain unchanged, save for the slight adjustments in the number of lessons per week, which now shift from 40 to 35. This is inclusive of the Pastoral Instruction Program, PPI. However, agriculture and home science have been integrated into agriculture and nutrition, while art and craft, music, physical education have been integrated into one learning area, which will now be referred to as creative arts. This has in effect reduced the total learning areas in upper primary by 2. Learners in grade 1 to 3 will now take 7 instead of 9 learning areas, including English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, mathematics, religious education, indigenous language, movement, and creative activities, which will now be referred to as creative activities, and environmental activities, which will incorporate the former environmental activities as well as hygiene and nutrition. Lessons for pre-primary learners will remain unchanged. The new structure will come into effect beginning January next year. In the meantime, rationalization of learning areas at senior school is ongoing, and a circular will be released during the first term of 2024. Safin Achieng Oma, Citizen TV.